AI generating shows in real time based on user prompts.
This is Truly Independent, a show that demystifies the indie film journey by documenting the process of releasing independent films in theaters. Each week, Garrett Batty and I, Darren Smith, will update you on our journey, bringing guests to share their insights into the process and answer your questions.
Garrett. Hey, man.
Hey, Darren, how are you?
You're hiding the shirt. You gotta open that up and make it
Faith of Angels.
Boom, Faith of Angels. How many placements can we get? I got Faith of Angels back here. You got it back there. You got it on your shirt.
You can never do too much to market your movie.
We're just incepting the audience every week on YouTube. Go watch our movies. I love it.
And we're obviously talking about Faith of Angels, the movie that I produced with Darren last year and put it in theaters. And we love that people are watching it.
Do you realize that it's been 2 years since we produced that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Now that it's August of 2025, and we filmed that, September, October of 2023. So it's crazy that it's been that long ago. If you told me that we were on set 6 months ago, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds right.
I believe it.
No,
yeah. Well, I get the email alerts every morning of that have sold and people that have streamed. And I'm very grateful that people continue to watch and support and reach out because of that movie. So thank you.
Yeah. We have a fun topic today. This is something that I posted about on LinkedIn. There was this cool announcement, maybe not cool, depending on what you think. This is going to be our main topic today. The headline is Amazon's Alexa Fund invests in the quote unquote Netflix of AI startup Fable, which launches Showrunner, a tool for user-directed TV shows. Bum, bum, bum. Garrett, I shared this with you. Let's talk about what this is and what it means for indie filmmakers today. How's that sound?
That sounds like a great topic and probably something we all need to address and come to terms with and say, what does this mean for me as an independent filmmaker? And that can be a scary topic or one that's very exciting and encouraging or a little bit of both. Hopefully we can talk about our opinions. Darren, I haven't researched it. I don't know much about what it is. My disclaimer is that you're going to get my opinion on this in its current state. The biggest fear is that this will age poorly and in 3 months from now, we're all using AI and what I say is totally irrelevant or makes me look foolish.
Okay, well, why don't we start with what this thing is? Fable is the company and Showrunner is the app. Essentially what it is, imagine if we'll put a link to this in the show notes, but the screenshot courtesy of Fable, it looks like a typical streaming platform with shows that you can scroll across in different categories. There's a most viewed episodes, trending today, and trending shows. Essentially, you can put in a prompt and tell the app what you would like to watch. I've been talking about this for a year on shows where I think this is coming. We see it now. One thing to note is that pretty much everything, there's one that I can see on the screenshot, 2 on the screenshot out of like 15 projects that look like live action. The rest are animated. What this is AI generating shows in real time based on user prompts. If it's sucky today, it's as bad as it's ever going to be. It's only going to get better and better. In addition to streaming, we're now going to have AI directed TV shows competing for people's time and attention, adding to the noise of content that is currently happening every single day across social media, YouTube, Netflix, streamers, TV shows, and movie theaters. That doesn't mean everything is noise. It just means that it's going to be harder to find the signal because there's so much content being produced. This is just going to exponentially add to that. People are going to be able to hop on a platform and put in a prompt, and they can even, one interesting thing is they can even remix stuff that's already been generated by other users. So if you come up with a show and other people want to take that show and create a new episode, you would make some money off of that in theory. So here's this new thing that's coming, Garrett. How does it make you feel as an indie filmmaker?
Based on your description, I think the best word you've used is noise. As an indie filmmaker, that has always been the challenge, cutting through the noise or theatrical competition, but maybe a second verse a little bit stronger, a little bit worse. But the routine is still the same. We get up, implement the tool into what we're creating, or continue to give our audience what they've grown accustomed to expecting from us.
Yeah. I'd love to take a 3-prong approach to this discussion today. I think it's probably a Tony Robbins thing, but in any moment, you have 3 choices. What do you focus on? what does it mean? And what are you going to do about it? So maybe we take that as our structure over the next 10, 15 minutes, starting with what are you going to focus on? I shared a post on LinkedIn about this very article, the Variety article that announced this investment in this tool had been made. And it was really interesting. Some people just completely wrote it off. Some people thought it was the end of everything. And most people were in between. And so if step one, what should we focus on here? We don't want to be prescriptive, but if you share what you're focusing on and I share what I'm focusing on, that gives people points of reference. A few weeks ago, it was Google VO3. That was like, look at the output from this generative AI tool that's doing 8-second video clips and they're hard to distinguish from reality. And it's like, okay, well, what are you going to focus on? Are you going to focus on this is the end of my career? Are you going to focus on this is a cool tool and I want to test it out and see if I can use it and benefit from it? So I think my answer is it's more broad. It's the fact that you can choose what to focus on. And another thing Tony Robbins says is what you focus on is what you feel. And so if you're reading the news like this every day and feeling really crappy and demotivated to show up and work on the next page of your screenplay or go to set or to try and pitch the next project, then maybe you should stop watching the news. One of our favorite lines from Faith of Angels, well, the news makes me sad. It's like, well, then turn it off.
Yeah, I didn't know that Amazon had made this investment until you sent me the article. I'm sure it's going to be great. This morning, I put in, so we have this sump pump in the basement.
Aha.
And I spent the weekend replacing and troubleshooting this sump pump. This leans to your analogy of, hey, this is as bad as it's going to be. It's only going to get better from here. I finally went to our friends over at ChatGPT and said, okay, here's my situation. I've got the sump pump and it keeps on flooding. And for some reason, the sump pump keeps failing. And I described the entire situation. And it came back with a great method of troubleshooting what to do. And I said, okay, this is amazing. Thank you so much. Can you give me a diagram of what this is? And the diagram, we'll have to somehow post this or something. The diagram that it sent was comical in its mistakes.
Yeah.
And I'm not a plumber, but it
Yeah.
was telling it had labeled everything wrong and misspelled all the words. It was very entry level stuff that even I could see. Maybe that's not the problem. We're not being replaced yet. And at the end of the day, I'm the one that gets to go to Home Depot and buy all the materials and do the work.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. The thing that I have been personally focusing on the most is what we've talked about this whole season of like development stuff is how important it is to start building relationships with an audience of people. Because if you're just one of a million options on a Netflix type platform, you're lost in a sea of AI generated noise. It's really hard to find and connect with an audience if you're just relying on a platform to do it for you. And so what will happen though is if you really forge a relationship with an audience and they care about the type of stuff that you make, the stories you're going to tell, the way that you tell them, your type of filmmaking, then those people will show up if you have a way to tell them about it, right? Forming and building that audience is essential with news like this when it pops up. It's like, oh, okay, there's going to be even more noise. How am I going to get my signal to connect with the people? It might be an email list. It might be, I hope it's not just a Facebook page or an Instagram page because those things could go away at any moment. But I hope you have a direct connection to your audience to be able to say, here's my next thing. I hope you come and see it. Here's a way to get tickets or stream it or watch it. So I think that's what I've been focusing on. It reinforces the importance of connecting with and building that audience.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you focus on is number one, what does it mean? It's similar, but different. And it's the next part of it, right? So you're focusing on something. What does it mean? This may be a shorter segment, but what does it mean for you? You've maybe touched on this a little bit, but if this is just more noise, what does that mean for you as a filmmaker? What does it mean?
I think for an independent filmmaker, for me, I read the article like, oh, that's great. I got a million things I need to do today, including follow up on the phone calls that I've made and raise the funds that I've been raising. I've got a trip to Atlanta coming up this week to do a scout and research, kind of a writing research trip. What a fascinating article, and good luck to them.
Yeah. What it means for me is it's in addition to. I don't see these types of things like the AI tools or the new platforms as replacements. I don't see them as, oh, this is the end of cinema or streaming or TV. It's just in addition to. So we started out with radio, and then we got movies, and then color movies and movies with sound. All these things just became in addition to. We still have radio today. We still have TV today. We still have movies today. And now we also have YouTube, social media, and streaming. And now we have AI generated content. And I can't imagine that it will be anywhere near as good as the same looking type show. I can look at this screenshot, and this one looks like a Family Guy knockoff, and this one looks like a Rick and Morty knockoff, and this one looks like a Disney Channel knockoff. Like, none of it's original. And my goodness, the industry for the last 120 years has gotten really good at identifying who's great at telling stories.
Yeah.
So you guess who's not on this platform? Ryan Johnson, Edgar Wright, Christopher Nolan, Greta Gerwig, Ava DuVernay. None of them are on this platform. You don't get those stories. You get whatever this Gen AI can cobble together based on what it has access to for its LLM. And that's what you're going to get. It's going to be regurgitated slop that looks like something that you asked it for. And some people will be very interested in that. Some people will be very good at prompting, and they'll get really cool shows that speak to them and no one else. And a lot of people will probably waste a lot of time on it. And it's not going to be better than anything that you get on a network, because the entire infrastructure is built around surfacing and investing in the best possible things. And so you're basically voting with your time and attention that I want something less good than what I can get for essentially free on Netflix or streaming or TV or in theaters.
Yeah.
So that's what it means for me. It's in addition to, it's going to be less good. And I'm not really that interested. I'll probably play around with it just to see where it's at. And then I'll go, well, that was a waste of time.
Well, I think the case could be made, if you're saying, hey, we had radio and then black and white film and everything, the case could certainly be made and say, people aren't listening to the radio like they used to. Or back when there wasn't streaming, TV shows were getting 15, 20 million viewers tuning in. When there's 3 channels, 55 million people are watching NBC only. And you could say that. And so we are seeing maybe this audience segmentation and all. Okay, now we're dividing, and now there's hundreds of channels and the same size audience. Therefore, we're filtering that audience out or splitting that audience between all those channels. But I think, to your point, the cream will rise to the top, and you say, hey, there's these amazing storytellers that understand what an audience is looking for, that have built their audience. And you know what? If a portion of their audience goes to Exit Valley or whatever this TV self-generated title is, that's okay. It'll only motivate the Christopher Nolans and Greta Gerwigs to continue to tell better stories and improve what they're doing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Christopher Nolan this summer announced The Odyssey coming out a year from now. And in the announcement week, they sold out IMAX theaters that had already pre-booked the time slots. That's possible because people really need that in their life. And to the point where they're going to invest $20, $25 today in something that they're not even going to see until a year from now, based off of a name, a couple of actors that are in it, and 5 shots from the movie. That's the flip side. It makes the really good stuff more valuable. That's exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Okay, so the third...
I need to go get tickets right now. I'll be right back.
They don't have any at the local IMAX, which is weird. So I'm like, come on, Megaplex, get with the program. So we talked about, what are we focusing on with this? What does it mean? So what are we going to do about it is that third step. And that, to me, is the most interesting. What are you going to double down on? What's going to be the moat that sets you apart from the slop? And within that same answer, I also think that there will definitely be people who make 6, maybe even 7 figures on this platform, generating shows and letting other people create scenes or episodes and making 40 cents a pop or whatever. There's going to be people that do that. So the question is, if that's how you want to make your money in film, you better get really good at it now and be investing in the platform and talking to them and saying about, how do I get early access to things and become a top creator on this platform, and go that route. But for those of us that don't want to go that way, myself included, I'm doubling down on story and real human emotion and unique stuff that only I can do where I've got some leverage in the project and I've got a way to get to an audience for free or cheap. And those are the things I'm looking at. So marketing and innovation on the story front, I don't think I'm going to be an innovator when it comes to the platform or the production method or anything like that. It's going to be pretty straightforward, but I can innovate on story. There's always opportunity to innovate there.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have any counterpoint to that. I'll do the same. And remind me, what are we addressing? The third?
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, I think I've already stated that. I'm going to get on an airplane Wednesday and head to Atlanta and do story research and location scouting for my next feature.
Awesome. Well, very cool. The emotional right now is like, okay, cool. It doesn't impact me. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. So there's our summary for that. I'm just going to keep doing what we're doing. So that's a nice transition into what are we doing right now, Garrett? What are you up to? You kind of hinted at a project. So
yes, we discussed this a little bit earlier, saying, look, it's time that we wrap up season 2 of pitching and fundraising, which is exciting for me because that means that our next step is development and pre-production.
Yeah.
And I will be getting into development and pre-production of my next feature. Its current working title is called Where the Dog Heals, and It's a true story, a faith-based film about an incredible miracle that occurred in somebody's hunting dog, and it brought the dog's owner and many people in this community closer to Christ. And so we'll be telling that story. And it occurred to me, we're recording this August, and if our goal is, hey, we're going to shoot this year, that's the only way that can happen is a miracle. But it's looking very positive that things are moving in that direction.
Yeah.
For future episodes, we'll probably announce or go over this in our season 3, episode 1, what we're going to do, how this movie is being funded and written. We'll do a week by week process on the pre-production of Where the Dog Heals.
Amazing. That sounds very cool. I've seen the pitch deck. I know a little bit about the project. It feels right up your alley. And our friend Stephen Follows, who was our last guest in season 1, recently shared a post about if you put a dog in your movie, that really helps with connecting with audiences. So good on you for being ahead of the curve on that.
Well, we'll be iterating the format that's already proven.
There you go.
But we'll do it in a way that has our unique voice.
I love it.
I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Darren, how about you? You are also working on some things.
Yeah, well, at the risk of, I typically don't like talking about projects until they're 100% solid. But basically where we're at is, the last text thread, loved the discussion, feeling good about working on this proof of concept piece with you guys. So discussing next steps. So that's basically, we're moving forward with this. I took a meeting with a director friend that we share. And I can't talk too much about the project because I'm not supposed to, but I can talk in generalities of what we're doing here. So I got called by a director friend and said, hey, I've got this project, talking with these guys about a proof of concept. The term torch is become mainstream because Angel Studios has this thing called a torch where you can submit 5, 8, 10 minutes of your project as a proof of concept or a scene from a thing that you've made and put it in front of their guild to trigger the voting process. If they like it, they'll produce it or distribute it or whatever it looks like. And so we went in and talked about what's the right path here. Should we go straight to fundraising? Should we do a proof of concept? What would that benefit us? What are the upsides, downsides, costs, all those things? That was the first meeting we had about 2-3 weeks ago. And we all reconnected a day or two ago, like, oh, hey, we should probably catch up because we want to move forward with this thing. So we're meeting again in 2 weeks, probably a low 6-figure proof of concept project that I will be producing along with this director friend. And who knows, we may need to go overseas because we need a volume. I don't know if there are volumes in the US. I haven't done the research yet because I haven't been paid to do the research yet. But essentially, it's a nice little project. It'll probably be a 3 to 5 day shoot. And it'll be a fun proof of concept. And who knows where it goes from there. They already have a lot of investor interest, though. And so what I shared with them was your example of how you did a proof of concept for the carpenter. And that convinced and helped the investor, the full feature. And so that's what we're looking for. Let's put some money into this, be strategic about it, and maybe even shoot some stuff that could be used in the feature. If we're getting some B-roll skies or some, some sunrises, sunsets, or, those kind of things, like let's just shoot the heck out of it while we're there and come back with some great stuff that could be used later on. But ultimately, it's a proof of concept to show this is what it'll look like, this is what it'll feel like, this is what we're trying to make, and getting people really excited to fund the full thing.
Oh, man, that's exciting. Congratulations. And based on what you've told me, it sounds like an amazing team and a great project to be associated with.
Yeah, it will be an amazing team because, the director and I will get to build that team together. So I'm excited for that part. It's been since 2023 since I was on set for something I was producing. So that's too long. But I'm really grateful that we had the experience last year to put the movies in theaters and be a part of that. This year's been all about raising the fund, which is making progress. We're looking to have that raised by the end of the year. And so this is a nice little, I'll use palate cleanser again of okay, let me get out of fundraising mode for a couple weeks and put this together, show people that I'm still producing stuff. I haven't left the industry. And hopefully that'll build some momentum for the fund as well to be yeah, this guy's doing stuff.
Oh, very cool. Well, the Chosen set out in Texas has a volume. So
Nice.
happy to connect you with.
Is that Capernaum Studios? Is that what they call
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that. Research.
Impressive facility and great people to work with,
Awesome.
which is where we filmed The Carpenter Sizzle.
It'll probably be a couple of sets in a volume, and we'll take it from there. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the script looks like yet. I just know what the project is. Lots first to get to writing a 5 to 10 page and then saying, all right, how are we going to shoot this stuff? So we'll be able to talk about a lot of it, I'm sure, which is very exciting.
Well, I look forward to following that. Okay. And then the last note on your agenda for today was to review some of these summer movies, specifically Fantastic Four. I think we both had the chance to see, which I loved. It was amazing.
Yes, loved it. Did you see Superman?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe we can talk about both.
Are we ready for this to be our most controversial episode yet?
I'm not here to review it by any means. I'm just going to talk about my personal reaction to these two summer blockbuster movies that probably had very similar budgets. I think Fantastic Four had bigger stars in it because Superman, we didn't really know.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you his name, David something.
David Corn.
There you go. Both of them have had really big marketing pushes. Both of them had big IMAX releases. And one of them really resonated. And the other one I haven't thought much about since I saw it. I'm really curious.
Guess which one?
I think the audience can. So I'm really curious your take within that context. How does that happen, Garrett? How do two studios with equal resources, money, room, and space in the release windows and screens, same budget, same size, same scope, same everything, marketing and production wise? And and they're both making about the same amount of money right now. Fantastic Four had a 66% drop from week 1 to week 2, which is big. But they're both going to make about the same amount of money, probably somewhere in the $500 million to $1 billion range. Okay, but one resonates and one doesn't. What's up with that?
Yeah. No, it's a great question. And again, I'm not a professional critic, and I'm appreciative of anybody's work as far as film goes. From just an audience perspective, Fantastic Four resonated better with me because I think there was human emotion. There were human stakes, which I thought was very different than Superman. One thing that was disappointing to me is as much as the movie is about him, the human side of Clark Kent or of Superman, I just didn't resonate. There didn't feel like there was any human stakes at stake. And so I think that that's why Fantastic Four is sticking with me more.
Yeah.
One of the things also, Darren, the aesthetic of Fantastic Four was so rich and original and fun to look at. It was such a retro, futuristic combination that was something I hadn't seen before. Superman felt like a lot more of this very destruction type, the CGI, just insane amounts of CGI where there was very little reality for me to grasp onto. I thought, gosh, I just want some sort of human connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think part of that comes from the director. A lot of it comes from the director. We've got Matt, is it Shackman? Matt Shackman, who I was just looking at his history. He comes from
amazing.
a lot of TV. But you look at, he did WandaVision, which had a very specific aesthetic to it. He did Game of Thrones, The Great, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's got this really broad palette to paint from. And that showed up. He's done a lot of TV, and you look at everything that he's done, and there's a lot of different looks there. American Gothic, Game of Thrones, Billions, The Boys, Succession, The Great. These are all very specific visual shows. I think he brought a lot of that to the table.
To him, because he's going into these worlds where these TV worlds, which are built or which have their team adapting or fitting in his director's touch in those worlds. And so I think that there is this respect for those worlds.
Yeah. So similar to you, I do think it's the human emotion. And I want to add on a layer on top of that, which is the relationships. So you've got two similar stories. Like, there are people that have to prevent the world from ending, right? Like, again, it's all things considered on paper, they're very similar movies. But you look at the relationships, I think Superman did, for me personally, Superman did an okay job between Clark and Lois, like giving us some human emotion and some real relation dynamics there. But everyone else in the movie, I didn't feel like there were real relationships there. They were just people on screen. So the other people that worked in the Daily Planet, is that what it's called? The newspaper, I didn't feel like there were real relationships. They were just kind of taking up space. And the three, what were those guys called? The Green Lantern, Justice Gang. They were just caricatures. I know Eddie Gathegi, he did a great job, I thought, as that character whose name was
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific. I love Nathan Fillion, and I thought it was kind of a weird role. Just like, why does this character exist other than to just maybe set up future movies, but also take up space? A lot of it was clunky for me. Everything revolved around this event where the two lead characters in Fantastic Four suit, like, I forget their names.
And Incredible or whatever it is.
Reed Richards and Sue Storm.
Yeah.
They, not to spoil it for anybody, but they discover they're pregnant after trying for many years. That central inciting incident for the movie, everything else in the movie revolved around that. Their brother or brother-in-law and their best friend are part of this quartet that's at the core of the movie. But even the villain is connected to that inciting incident. You've got this really rich story that's revolving around these relationships and the dynamics of, okay, this is my nephew and this is my sister and this is my brother-in-law, or this is my best friend and these are my two other friends and we had this shared experience together. And what happens if someone's trying to come in and destroy that central thing that's core to all the relationships? Like, it was so layered because of the relationship dynamics that were at play. So everything felt in service to that and was reinforcing that, as opposed to, oh yeah, these two have some witty banter for a scene, but then we never think about that relationship again.
Right. So I'm curious, Darren, I'm curious if this is too skeptical of me, but you've got so much writing on both of these movies, right? And you got James Gunn, who is the new co-head of DC now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is riding on his career to make Superman work. Plus, he is the head of DC, which is a major division of Warner Brothers. I think he has amazing access to tools as far as promotions and publicity. I've been very skeptical at some of the promotions and publicity about how great Superman is and is doing and everything like that. And a lot of it has felt in service to James Gunn, the new head of DC. We want to make sure that this guy is happy for future work and projects. It's hard to find a marketing piece about Superman without James Gunn's face on it. Like, every article, everything, James Gunn, we get it. And I think that there's a lot of service to him saying, we are just going to force this to be a success because so much is riding on it.
I don't know if that's
Fantastic Four.
I don't know if that's cynical. I do think a lot of the draw of this movie was James Gunn, and a lot of people are coming over from his work. He's the biggest name in the movie.
Well, no, I think that the problem is that Superman is the biggest name in the movie. I think that they've deflated that, and they go, oh, we're going to make this about James Gunn, and this is our campaign. Gunn has a dog in real life, and these are true stories about James Gunn and his dog. And every time I watched the movie, I just imagine James Gunn and his dog and him going, "Oh, this will be so fun. We're gonna put this in the movie." And you go,
Interesting.
"God, there's so much bigger. Like Superman is bigger
I
than
know.
James Gunn. You have to admit that."
I know. And I think everything supports what you're saying. Yes, a lot of the clunkiness I felt was like, why is Superman being rescued by a dog? It's Superman.
Again and
And
again and again.
and basically the best known superhero ever, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows who Superman is, and yet it's not going to make as much as Spider-Man has in the last couple of movies. It's making about as much as some Batman movies have in the last 10 or 20 years. It made more than the last round of Superman movies, opening weekends at least. In all ways, it seems like it's successful. But where I judge success in my life, like I've got 3 movie posters behind my head, and these are movies I've watched dozens of times each. It's the Cornetto trilogy from Edgar Wright. And it's
Oh,
not
I thought it was
because
Carpenter, Faith of Angels.
those are the big ones behind me, but the
Okay.
trilogy that I try to remember and I'm surrounding my head with on screen is like, I want stories that resonate for long, long periods. To
Yeah.
this day, Hot Fuzz is my favorite movie. I watched it for the first time in 2007. So we're going on 20 years. Back to the Future is up there. And yes, The Dark Knight is up there. And yes, I've got a lot of movies that I love, but there's one that I will watch anytime it's on, anytime someone suggests it, anytime I've heard that someone has not seen it. I schedule a movie night at our house to say, you're coming over. I'm going to make good food and have fun drinks like soda drink. You're going to come over. We're going to watch this. And I'm going to get the joy of watching you watch this movie for the first time. I've done that many times, like more than half a dozen times with friends where I've introduced them to the Cornetto trilogy through Hot Fuzz. To me, that's the high bar. And the Superman, James Gunn Superman did not clear that high bar because it didn't resonate. It's not a movie that I care to go see again. I'm not going to rent it. I'm not going to watch it again. It's not something where I can't wait to see that movie again. I would go see Fantastic Four again this weekend right now. You said, let's plan it. It's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. It's been fun to watch the battle. And part of me just loves the cultural impact of movies, right?
Mhm.
And to see Superman succeed or to be told of Superman's success is fun to watch and go, okay, how are they doing this? As far as what it means to me as an independent filmmaker, there's probably some great notes to take from story elements and marketing. How do we push a movie out to an audience in a more genuine, authentic way?
All right, you ready for me to pull this full circle? Because people are probably going, why are you guys talking about summer blockbusters and AI stuff in the same episode? I'm ready for this.
I'm ready. This is it. This is the season finale. Let's hear it.
I think it's the same discussion in that you can't innovate on plot anymore. These 2 movies, if you compared them to any other Marvel or DC movie over the last 15, 20 years, it's the same plot. Something bad from outer space is coming to destroy the world, and this group of people or this individual is the one who can take them on. And the new Tron Ares that I saw a trailer for, it's the same plot. And the
Yeah.
new whatever, like big blockbuster movies have the same plot. They have the same budget, the same studio, the same marketing. It's the same. So you can't innovate on that. You can't give us more spectacle because we've already seen it. Every Transformers movie is just as much spectacle as every Avengers movie, which is just as much spectacle as what we've seen in Superman and Fantastic Four. So the only place to iterate is in story. What's the difference between story and plot? It really comes down to what's going on in the lives of these characters and how does it impact them individually.
Mm.
If you avoid that part to serve the plot or the spectacle, you're missing the thing that resonates with the audiences. I think that's what's going to happen with the AI platforms like the one we talked about earlier. There's going to be a lot of visual similarity, and it's just going to feel like more of the same. The only stuff that's going to rise to the top is the stuff that resonates with audiences to go, oh, wow, I feel that same way. And I like how this helped me reframe that into something different. And it changed my emotion. We go to the movies for a release or to feel good, to laugh, to cry, or to be scared. If the stuff lacks the emotional content, which I would put Superman in that realm, it lacked emotional content. I didn't feel for the characters. I just watched stuff happen on screen.
Yeah.
I watched a plot movie, not a story movie. But Fantastic Four for me was a story movie. Like it was an intimate, real story movie with real talent in the actors there, like from the top down. Everybody understood the story they were telling, not just the plot point they were filming at that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
And it stands out. For me, the full circle moment is you have to really focus on story, not just how it's produced or how it's made, not just how much money there is, not just who's attached to it. Story, story, story. That's the thing that resonates with audiences, and that's what's going to get your audience to keep coming back because you told a great story.
I love it. I think that's where those moments are earned, those moments of humanness. Whether you get Superman saying, I'm human, that differentiates that moment, which is almost an unearned tantrum, versus a Fantastic Four saying, no, the cost is too great. You're going, okay, I can relate and connect to that because it's an earned moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Darren, wonderful episode. What are we on? Episode 32 of this season. But I
32,
am looking
33.
forward to, again, building, seeing what's next as far as development and pre production on our future projects.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for going on this journey.
Same, man. It's been fun. We made it to the end of season 2. I'm sure people are like, is this going to be 50 episode season? But we did it. I'm very excited as well. Thanks for this podcast. I look forward to it every week. The thing I love the most, Garrett, and I know you love it too, is people messaging us and saying no one else is talking about the actual day-to-day of the industry in the same way. If this has benefited you as a listener, we'd love for you to share it. We'd love for you to tell people about it. I think the more people it can reach, the more impact we can have on this industry that we love, but is also struggling right now. So help us out with a share and a comment and a review. And thanks for listening.
Yeah, and keep doing it because this next season we will be talking about in detail, almost creating publicly, saying, okay, we're writing the script. Let's talk to writers. And this is my process. In fact, next episode we'll go through this 90 beat breakdown of how we tell a story in 90 beats and how it really streamlines the script writing process. I'm very excited about it.
That's so awesome. All right, here we go.
Okay, thanks, Darren.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Truly Independent. To join us on the journey, be notified and ask us questions about today's episode, head over to 3coinpro.com/podcast and put in your name and an email address. If you're a fan of the show, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast app and be sure to share this. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Our intro and outro music is Election Time by Kjartan Abel.